Hi, Brian Kreutz here from the RevPartners Playbooks Team, and we continue talking about how to set your go-to-market goals to set you up for success and really be able to communicate to leadership team where your business is headed and how you're going to get there. Today, we're going to talk about reviewing the actuals to plan based on your previous goals and the impact on the revenue performance model. So let's go ahead and look at some sample data. So this is just sample data from previous quarters that you can use. And let's look how these goals and these actuals, how goal attainment affects our revenue performance model. So here we have all of the goals. And on this tab, we have all of the actuals. So for 3 or 4 quarters now, we've got all of these goals right here. And when we compare them to actuals, we will see which metrics are performing well and which metrics are struggling. So you can see for 4 straight quarters, we've really overachieved on our goals to leads. So 179% performance to planning in this calendar quarter, where we've underachieved the MQL to leads conversion rate. Because we've underachieved this conversion rate, 3 of the 4 quarters, we've underachieved on the amount of MQLs that we're forecasting towards. So up funnel, there's a lot of times it's a little bit harder to forecast, but what you want to do is take these actuals and goal attainment into consideration when you're setting future goals to try to get these more correct. Now you can see lower on the funnel around these conversion rates down here, a lot of these are pretty similar. So you can see most of these are green or in the yellow, which means they're 80% to about 125%. So you can see that we've gotten better at forecasting our go-to-market goals for deals created for this go-to-market metric over the last couple of quarters. So we hit 77% in Q3, and then we continue to forecast different goals on a quarterly basis to update those based on what our marketing team can generate. Then we were 94, so right at the goal in Q4, 124, so a great overachievement in Q1, and then 102% in Q2. And so we really nailed Q2 with exactly what the marketing team was able to generate based on our goal. And remember, these goals funnel down to the revenue goal, and so you want to make sure that top to bottom, all of these goals hit. So based on this improved forecasting for Q3 and Q4, I want to make sure that I'm using all this information to forecast correctly. This doesn't mean the goal has stayed the same. You can see the goal has actually changed several times within this sample size, but we're getting closer to actually forecasting it correctly. So even if goals are going up or conversion rates are going down or staying the same, the goals and the performance to goal will slightly different. So you can see down here that sometimes not everything is exactly the same. So we were 61% in closed won count, but because we are 120% of our average deal size, that bumped us up to 73% revenue. And so sometimes conversion rates or average deal size can really offset, different forecasting that you missed further up the funnel or further down the funnel. Where if the average deal size, if you really nail the average deal size goal here, you can see that the closed won percentage, the conversion rate, and the TCV revenue all fall under the same performance to goal. And so that means that average deal size that you really nailed ensured that the metrics directly above and below it also hit around the same area. So you can see how some of these affect each other. And so here you can see 3 greens in a row, but because the average deal size was again a little bit lower, this was in the green at 97%, but we didn't book it up to 100%. So by really building the simple spreadsheet and leveraging where exactly you've overachieved and underachieved, you can really tie that back to your revenue performance model and going to goals in the future. So as we're looking at Q3 goals in the future, how are we going to change the different conversion rates and inputs to ensure that our team can hit those goals? And so when we're thinking about this, we need to go back to our revenue performance model and look at this and ensure if we need to increase a conversion rate down here, we need to make sure that the volume is higher further up to the left side of the funnel here in this revenue performance model to ensure we can hit those goals. And so all of the factors within your goals are going to affect different teams. If you need to increase your closed won revenue here, you might have to generate more leads, which is going to affect your marketing team. If you need to increase your average deal size to sell higher value products, down here, the average deal size, it might affect the conversion rate from qualified deal to closed won. And so you might need that conversion rate might go lower. And so as you're adjusting these levers, you're really trying to factor in what levers can you pull that you can offset with actual business decisions. If you need to generate 20% more marketing qualified leads, but you're not going to increase your budget, it's going to be very hard to hit that goal. But if your budget is going to increase and your goal is going to increase, you're much more likely to hit that goal. So make sure you align with your leadership team on exactly things like budget, expenses, different goals, different maybe events or projects or different initiatives you have going on really with the marketing and sales teams to ensure you're going to hit this. If you're going to try to generate 200 more deals, but you're not going to hire another sales rep, it's going to be very, very hard on a capacity standpoint for the sales rep to hit that goal. So make sure you're aligning all these decisions to your revenue performance model and then tying that back to these actuals. From here, you can adjust with these goals and really ensure you kind of can see what's going on. If I change this conversion rate to 85%, you'll see exactly what changes are made up and down bottom. If this needs to be 185, you can see that this conversion rate needs to be 86. If you need to sell 50 customers, then this conversion rate needs to be higher, and then the average deal size can be lower to still hit your goal. And so definitely mess around with these different calculations to really spot check a couple things and place some scenarios. If you want to lower the average deal size, you're going to have to sell more customers. If you want to raise the average deal size, you can sell low customers. Is it realistic to up your average deal size that much? You might have to look internally and talk to stakeholders to figure out what initiatives you have in place that you can really do. So make sure to align your go-to-market goal setting with different key stakeholders in your business and really make sure you align that to your revenue performance model and ensure that you've got business decisions that align to these goals, whether that's new initiatives to generate more interest in your product and service, or it's hiring different folks to fill a need for increased capacity. Ensure that the goals make sense from a business standpoint so that you and your team are aligned to make sure that these goals are achievable.